morning. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you are with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or are with us this morning for the first time, or are watching a recording of our services for the first time, we are glad you are here. I'm Reverend Sharon Wiley, Chalice's minister. Our worship musician this morning is Justin Gray. Welcome to this online worship service. Please notice that on your Zoom menu, on your screen, there's a button that says CC Live Transcript. If you don't see it on your menu, it might be in a little, if you have a more button for more menu, and sometimes that looks like a ... to open that menu. CC Live Transcript is our closed captioning service. You can click on it to hide the subtitle if you don't want to see it, or you can click show subtitle if you want that function on. Also on your menu is the chat button. For those of you who like to use the chat during the service, people are saying hello and greeting each other right now. You're welcome to do that. Be sure that when you post that you've opened the little blue drop-down menu there and that you've selected panelists and attendees. If you only post to panelists, almost no one sees what you've posted. So we want everyone to be able to read the posts. So this is me standing on our virtual courtyard saying hello, greeting you Sunday morning. Since I can't hug you myself, let's all give ourselves a big hug of welcome and hello. It's good to be together. I want to especially welcome those of you who are newcomers to Chalice. In addition to this online worship, I want you to know that many of our groups and activities are meeting online using Zoom as well. Activities like our women's book club, men's breakfast group, support groups, religious education for children, all of these and more are happening online. You don't have to be a member to participate in our groups and activities. They're open to everyone. So if you're new to Chalice and would like to learn more about our activities, you're invited to stay in this Zoom format, and we'll have a chat using the chat box for newcomers after the service. Now, let's take a breath together.
Good morning. According to the Library of Congress, the first permanent Euro-American settlements began a pattern of displacement and land appropriation of indigenous people that continued until the 20th century. In this region that we consider home, the Kumeyaay first lived here for over 10,000 years and were the people who greeted the Spanish when they first sailed into the San Diego harbor in 1542. With this awareness, we acknowledge that Chalice is located on the stolen, tribal, ancestral homeland of the Apai, which is part of the Kumeyaay Nation, and the Payamkawichem Nation. This acknowledgement reminds us that we live in a history-driven present and that we need to be intentional with this land and with the people indigenous to the land. Mary Lyons from the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe states, "When we, the indigenous people, talk about land, land is part of who we are. It is a mixture of our blood, our past, our current, and our future." According to the research done with Reclaiming Native Truth, 40% of Americans do not believe that indigenous people still exist in the U.S. Chalice hopes that with our first step of land acknowledgement, we can move towards educating ourselves and others about indigenous communities and their rich and diverse culture and create a meaningful relationship with them as well.
Now we light our chalice. the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. The flaming chalice was first used during World War II by the Unitarian Service Committee as a symbol of life-saving refuge for people fleeing persecution in Europe. May our chalice flame burn brightly, that all who are seeking may find us. At the end of one week, the beginning of the next, the end of 1 year, at the beginning of the next, bring now your broken heart, your open heart, your whole heart. Set aside who you think you should be in favor of who you are. Let this be the time to bring who you are, your whole self, your broken self, your open self. Lay down your burden now. Drink from the well now. Rest your weary soul now. Among we kindred spirits, fellow travelers, we who are also open and broken and whole. At the end of 1 week, the beginning of the next, let us worship together.
This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song. This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song. This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song. I am Abigail, and this is Sean, and we're so glad that you've turned this on and welcomed us into your home, and you are welcome into our home. We're in Dayton, Ohio. We're in Sean's parents' house.
my parents' house.
Sean's parents' house. We were in Louisville when the shit hit, and we packed our 3-year-old into a car. We drove kind of far. We drove here, and we've been so lucky and blessed to be safely here. And we thought we'd be here for like 10 days, tops.
What did we know?
What did we know?
What
What did we know? We thought we knew a lot. We thought we knew a lot. Woo!
Keep going on.
Keep going on song. This is a keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. This is a keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. And we've been mostly healthy. We've been okay. Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you okay? I hope your body is whole tonight. And if your heart is breaking, I hope it's breaking open. And if your breath is shaking, I hope it's shaking through. And I hope that you've watched a lot of really great television, like a lot of it. And I hope that you find a hand lotion that actually makes your skin feel better. And I hope that you have enough to eat. I hope you're getting enough sleep, and I hope you have enough good company or enough good memory to last you a long time. Keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. We sing the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. Let's bring some joy into the room, why not? We can try it, or some rage,
Keep going, keep going.
and some grief and relief. Ooh, I hope my rage, I pray my rage is a fire that cleans my mind out and makes me ready to listen. I pray my pain is a river that flows to the ocean that connects my pain to yours. And I pray my happiness is like pollen that flies to you and pollinates your joy. Oh boy, is that possible? I don't know. We are making this up as we go. We have to make it up as we go. The keep going song, the keep going song. Oh, we're making it up. We're making it up as we go. Keep going on. Keep going on song. And I pray that when we meet again, that the world has changed into the world that we are imagining now together. And I pray that the world has become the world that we're planting inside of ourselves for each other and for our ancestors and for our kids. Ooh, and we're gonna start. This is a rough beginning. That's all I've got is a rough beginning to offer you. We're gonna start by singing some songs in this tiny space together. We're just gonna sing some songs for you, and we hope that when you hear them, you will feel a little bit less alone, and we will feel a little bit less alone in the work and in the hurt, and we will be together tonight somehow, whenever this is, wherever this is. We will be together tonight for the keep going on. Keep going on song. This is a keep going on. Keep going on song. This is a keep going on. Keep going on song. This is a keep going on. Keep going on song. This is a keep going on. Keep going on.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by honoring our joys and sorrows. If you would like to share a joy or sorrow with the congregation this morning, now is the time for sharing in the chat box. If you'd like to send me a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, please email me and I will put my email address in the chat box for you.
All this joy, all this sorrow, all this
Our story is called Zen Shorts, written and illustrated by John Muth. Michael, there's a bear outside, said Carl. A what? Called Michael. A bear! He's really big, and he's in the backyard. What's he doing? Michael asked. He's sitting. He has an umbrella, said Carl. An umbrella? By the time the boys got outside, their sister Addie was already talking with him. I'm sorry for arriving unannounced, said the bear. The wind carried my umbrella all the way from my backyard to you. I thought I would retrieve it before it became a nuisance. He spoke with a slight panda accent. Michael introduced himself. Then Addie introduced Carl because Carl was shy around bears he didn't know. And this is how Addie, Michael, and Carl met Stillwater. The day after that, Carl went to visit Stillwater. Michael said I couldn't bring over our stuff to go swimming. I'm mad at Michael. He's always telling me what to do, so I brought everything. Said Stillwater. It's a little pool. I don't know if all those things will fit. Let's see, Carl said. Let's see, said Stillwater. Stillwater looked at the pool. The things can go swimming, but we can't, he said. I brought too much stuff, said Carl. That's okay, said Stillwater. I'll help you carry it home later. Why does Michael always have to tell me what to do? Carl said. If he were here, I would jump up really high. And I would jump on him like this. And I'd do a big smash like this. Later, Carl and Stillwater had tea. Carl, said Stillwater, you spent the whole day being angry with Michael. Did you notice how much fun we had? Carl watched the steam rise from his cup. I'm sorry I brought all this stuff, Carl said. You don't need to be sorry, said Stillwater. Right now you need to carry. Hold on tight, and I will tell you a story. Two traveling monks reached a town where there was a young woman waiting to step out of her sedan chair. The rains had made deep puddles, and she couldn't step across without spoiling her silken robes. She stood there looking very cross and impatient. She was scolding her attendants. They had nowhere to place the packages they held for her, so they couldn't help her across the puddle. The younger monk noticed the woman, said nothing, and walked by. The older woman quickly picked her up and put her on his back, transported her across the water, and put her down on the other side. She didn't thank the older monk. She just shoved him out of her way and departed. As they continued on their way, the younger monk was brooding and preoccupied. After several hours, unable to hold his silence, he spoke out. That woman back there was very selfish and rude, but you picked her up on your back and carried her. Then she didn't even thank you. I set the woman down hours ago, the older monk replied. Why are you still carrying her? Do you think you have carried it long enough? Asked Stillwater. Yes, said Carl. Good, said Stillwater. And that is how Addie, Michael, Carl, and Stillwater became friends. It is our tradition to have a ritual of letting go on the last Sunday of the outgoing year or the first Sunday of the new year. This year, this extraordinary year, this difficult year, this unprecedented year, 2020, we might more appropriately call this service the Good Riddance service, or the Don't Let the Door Hit You on the Way Out service. We've already in the chat been looking forward to saying goodbye to 2020. Intellectually, we know that there's nothing magical about turning the page on the calendar, that January 1st is not really different than December 31st. But still, we mark time by the days, weeks, and months of the calendar. And why not rejoice, especially at the start of a new year? Let's also remember that 2020, which will go down in infamy, but it's still a year that good things happened. People got married, children were born, we elected a new president. We have been able to share joys with our sorrows every single Sunday this year. And we will for sure remember this as a difficult year, a hard year, maybe the longest year of our lives. And for many people, the worst year of our lives for a long time. Maybe for some of us, even the rest of our lives. We deserve to celebrate the end of this year. So I have a clip for us from the John Oliver show, if you're familiar with him. There's some coarse language that's bleeped out, but you can probably still tell what he's saying. His mouth is very close to the camera. So we did our best, but apologies. And be warned that he blows up 2020 in this video. So if you're triggered by explosions, this is your content warning. You might want to step away for a couple of minutes, or if you're watching this recorded, you can fast forward. And then after John Oliver, some videos from Chalice congregants kicking 2020 to the curb, and then we'll sing together.
Look, this year has been an absolute parade of misery. In January alone, Australia was being ravaged by wildfires, Kobe Bryant died, and for a few days, it really seemed like America was about to go to war with Iran. That was all this year, and that was before the coronavirus exploded, and everything got even worse. Mass unemployment, evictions, that video of those celebrities singing Imagine, it was really terrible. On top of which this year saw the deaths of Chadwick Boseman, John Lewis, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. This year ruined lives, jobs, concerts, and sanity. It also brought a new wave of wrenching videos of police brutality that brought on a national reckoning with race and a ferocious and depressing backlash. And sure, the presidential election ended well, but it was grim to live through. And Trump won't actually leave office till next January. 2020 was absolutely terrible. And I really hope next year is going to be better. But the truth is, what happens next is up to all of us. It's going to depend on how willing we are to fight, how well we learn from what's happened, and how much we are able to care about each other. So I don't know what happens next, but I do know what happens now. Let tomorrow be about solutions. Today is about vengeance. You, 2020. Get
shadows wide on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I've tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small. And the fear that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I'm one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I'll stand, and here I'll stay. Let the storm rage on. My power flurries through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I am never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go, let it go. And I'll rise like the break of dawn. Let it go, let it go. That perfect girl is gone. Here I'll stand in the light of day. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Feel like shouting, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Feel like shouting, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Life is sweeter, so much sweeter. Since I laid my burden down.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. As Buddhist teacher Joseph Goldstein has said, it's important to understand that generosity is a practice. It's not just a single event. It is a quality in our hearts and minds that we can develop and cultivate. Please text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, know that once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to follow to enter your credit card information. And once you've entered that information once, when you've donated, you won't need to enter it again for future donations. So if your Sunday donation is part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate the word pledge after the dollar amount. And also know that you can make a text donation anytime. It doesn't just need to be during the worship service. So the phone number will be on screen in a moment, and I'll also put it in the chat. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. Open hearts, open minds, open doors, nurturing spirits, seeking justice within the wider world. This is our mission. As we get ready to say goodbye to 2020 in a few days, this is also a traditional time to set some intentions for the coming year. This is especially tricky right now as we anticipate an end to the pandemic in 2021, yet we are months away from the widespread distribution of vaccines needed. You might hear that one of two ways. We're just months away, or we're still months away. But whatever hope or excitement you do or don't feel, it is probably hard for most of us to imagine very far ahead. So I want to encourage you, if you're setting an intention for 2021, to keep it modest and meaningful. We're still living through a pandemic, still living through a traumatic event, still coping. So I encourage you to think of intentions around continued self-care or strengthening connections with friends and family. We'll take some time to think together while we listen to music. And if you're comfortable sharing your intention in the chat box, please do so, and we'll inspire each other.
is love. Wash me away so that all that's left is love. Wash me away so that all that's left is love. Wash me away so that all that's left is love. Wash me away so that all that's left is love. Wash me away so that all that's left is love. Wash me away so that all that's left is love. Wash me, hallelujah, 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 all that's left, hallelujah, wash me, hallelujah, 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 all that's left, hallelujah, hallelujah, wash me, hallelujah, 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 all that's left, hallelujah, hallelujah. There is so much magnificence in the ocean. Hallelujah. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence in the ocean. Hallelujah. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence in the ocean. Hallelujah. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence in the ocean. Hallelujah. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence in the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence in the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in.
May you go forward knowing that life is fragile and a gift, that you are lovable and loved, and you are not alone. Love and blessings to each of you. Blessed be. You are invited to close our time together by singing The Well, and then we have a brief announcement about our upcoming church auction after The Well. And newcomers are invited to stay here in the worship for a newcomer chat using the chat box, and everyone is invited to our coffee hour.